Not every ikhtilaf means differences of opinion, should lead to a khilaf. A khilaf means an argument. A khilaf means taking somebody as an opponent. Not every ikhtilaf should lead to an actual division. Many of the differences of opinion are within the tolerable spectrum of Islam. Not every difference is evil. Not every alternative opinion is inherently wrong. There's a spectrum, and we see this from the time of the Sahaba themselves. Even the companions differed over many issues of Islam. Even in the lifetime of the Prophet ﷺ, Allah created minds differently. We have a number of episodes in the seerah when the Prophet ﷺ said, X, do this. And in his lifetime, the Sahaba understood it in different ways. And I have given other talks about this. In his own lifetime, the companions disagreed. After the death of the Prophet ﷺ, the differences increased manifold. But those differences never divided the community. Their hearts were united, even though they had different madhabs, different fiqhs. And our schools of Islamic law, they are based upon the differences of the Sahaba. Very simplistically, it is true to say, for example, that the Hanafi madhab is more based upon Ibn Mas'ud, and the Shafi'i madhab is more based upon Ibn Abbas. Very simplistic, but there's a kernel of truth to this. These differences that exist, they go back to the time of the Sahaba. So, not every ikhtilaf should lead to a khilaf. We need to understand there is a spectrum of differences of opinion. Sometimes a difference of opinion is within the mainstream and both are considered to be valid, even if they are not the same. Our Prophet ﷺ is reported to have said, some of the scholars said the hadith is weak, but the concept is authentic. It is found in Sunan at-Tirmidhi and others. He said, or it is reported that he said, the ikhtilaf of my ummah is a mercy from Allah. Ikhtilafu ummati rahmah. Many of our earlier scholars commented on this, that we thank Allah that Ibn Mas'ud had a different fatwa from Ibn Abbas, that Abu Hurairah gave something different than our mother Aisha. Within this diversity, certain fatwas appeal to a certain situation and other fatwas apply in other situations. Not every ikhtilaf is something that is cursed. No, ikhtilafu ummati rahma. Some of the ikhtilaf of my ummah is a mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, much of the difference of opinion that we find within a community is actually within this spectrum of mercy. Beyond this, again we said it's a spectrum. Beyond this, there are opinions and disagreements that we would consider to be eccentric, odd, atypical. But if a person holds them, they are still within the mainstream of Islam. Anybody who studies Islamic history realizes that every single major figure of Islam held one or two views that were different from other people. This applies to Imam al-Nawawi, Ibn Taymiyyah, Al-Ghazali, Fakhruddin al-Razi, any scholar you mention. If you really study his biography, you study his views, the reason why they had an impact is that they did something unique. They presented something new. And when they did that, one or two or three views might have been different from the others. So what? We look at overall their positive contributions. No major scholar of Islam existed except that you'll find an opinion or two or three or four that are in the minority. Still, it doesn't make them anyhow evil. So this is the broader spectrum, that sometimes an opinion is atypical, but it is still acceptable.